Is the mishna on that? Then test and something. From Chesed with base 58b by the Mishnah. Let's go. Who's this Adam? Okay, so Achuz Adam, which literally translates as someone whose blood is seized. I think that's it's a sickness of the blood, and maybe has too much blood.
Condition resulted from sudden increase of blood.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Mishenes, him that gets smoke in its body. Gets sickness where it gets too cold. When I eat a poisonous, I'm not sure what they translate. It's a type of poison.
Done to chickens.
When I ate the excretions of chickens.
Bad water.
Drink bad water. It's all. These are all these things are kosher. They're not considered a disqualification for an animal. Instant disqualification. Obviously, if it dies, it dies. Right. Okay. If it ate poison, or a snake bit it, it's much because of treifa. It's not something which is considered an immediately disqualifying problem. However, it's forbidden to eat it because of it's dangerous to your life. It says in the Torah, you should guard your life a lot. Therefore, very much, you're not allowed to eat it because you're putting yourself in danger. Okay, very good. That's the mission. Amar Shmuel said, if you poured this type of poison down its throat, treifa, it's going to be treifa. It's going to be disqualified due to being a treifa. Why is it going to? Because it makes a hole in the intestine. He's saying it's so strong, poison so strong, it goes down those pipes, and it's like it burns right through it. Okay. Master Shizvi, Sir Shizvi asked a question on Shmuel. It says in our Mishnah, we said animal had too much blood, or Mishanis, he got smoke damage, ate chicken, excretions of Shasas, drink bad water. Now this must be 1 second. This is Tosefta. Okay, this is not our Mishnah. It's a very similar version. It's a brisa. It's a Tosefta in the back of the Gemara. So, right. Again, so here's my Miram. Drink bad water. He'll eat the teah. Again, you poured some sort of poison down. This list has a little more stuff in it, right? Our Mishnah only had till here.
Oh.
Right. It stopped after Shas Miram. Stopped. Here we have at least a tia. It's chaldas. So you poured that upilpulin. You poured tia is 1 second. Tia.
It's just the extraordinary bitter herb that's helpful to animals.
Okay, so extraordinary bitter herb. Chaldas upilpulin. Pilpulin are peppers, I guess spicy peppers. Chaldas again we already mentioned. This type of poison, very strong herb. The Sefta continues. They ate poison. Sheira, it's going to be kosher. Snake bitter, or give on. Or a rabid dog bit it. It's going to be permitted because of being a treifa. Again, it's going to be forbidden because it is a kanas of fashis. You're putting your life in danger to eat it. The Gemara is asking, says, we see Shmuel said the chaltas is going to be treif, right? We see clearly in the Tosefta that chaltas is not going to be treif. It mentions chaltas specifically, and it says it's not going to be treif. It says it's kosher. And Samavas, it says specifically, so again,
it is permissible.
Yeah, so again,
prohibited because of danger.
And Samavas of the Tosefta. Hold on. Right. Okay. So what? So the Gemara answers. Simple. How did Chadz is not the question you asked from the Mishnah from the Tosefta on Shmuel. You said chaltas and chaltas, that Shmuel said is going to be treif and the Mishnah and the is going to be kosher. That's not a question. Kan ba'alin, kan b'kartin. There are Shmuel is talking about alin. The Tosefta is talking about b'kartin. Alin are the leaves. B'kartin is a different part of the root. It's a different part of the different part of the plant. So they're talking about two different things. Yeah, so it's not a question. Our Mishnah, so one Mishnah is talking about where it's the poison for the animal. So then it's going to be a problem. You're right. When it's eating the poison that makes the animal die, makes the chicken die, or whatever it is. I don't know why I chose chicken. And the animal die, it eats that poison which is dangerous for it. So then yes, that's going to be a problem of treifa, because it's going to cause it to die. However, when it eats the poison of a person, it's just dangerous because of sakanas nefashos, right? The animal eats a poison that's dangerous for a person. The animal is fine. The person is not fine, and that's the Gemara says that hainu behema hainu hardufni, and Tosefta, the one that's for a behema is hardufni. This hardufni you mentioned in our Mishnah, right? That is the poison that's dangerous for animals, right? And okay. So there's two types of the Mishnah said one meant for a person, one meant for an animal. Okay. My tia, what's this thing in the Tosefta that said tia? We didn't know what it was. It said a very extremely bitter herb. Amar Yehuda. Ikra demirta. Again, you're not going to get an exact. I don't think you nail down an exact description over here, but it's the root of
Econite.
Econite, yeah, it's what happened by the way. I don't know.
What's econite?
And does it? You don't really know.
Previously known as
Monkshood.
monkshood.
Oh, wolfsbane. Okay, that I've heard of.
Wolfsbane or monk.
Okay. Amar Rav Yehuda. The person eats 3 measures of chaltas. Aliber ekana, on an empty heart, which means an empty stomach. Mishtalach mashche. I think his whole insides, I believe, means his skin stretches. He gets sick. He has some sort of I don't know. He has some sort of
burn up with fever.
Yeah. Okay.
3 shekel weights.
Yeah. 1 second. Sorry. Here. I had this myself. In general, if Abba or Ravo and Shas, we see other places as well. He mentions his that he got saved by his knowing, good knowledge of herbs. Now, I don't know why he ate it in the first place, but apparently, I ate a measure of this chaltis. And had I not said that in water, again, I would have had this reaction, this skin stretching fever. The wisdom causes its owner to live, right? Wisdom does that to people. You can use it to help themselves when they need it. Okay. Someone who eats 16 eggs. The Arbei Amguzi. And 4. And Amguzi is nuts. 1 second. Vishav Batisa. And 7 haberberries. Vishav Batisa is a part of Harchi. Vishasi Revius Adufsha. It drinks a Revius, which is a small measurement. It's about 3 ounces of honey, B'tkuvas Tamas, in this time of year, wherever we are right now. The time of Tamas around the year. Aliber Ekana, on an empty stomach. Miss Akirtai Libe, his heart disconnects. Very interesting. Okay. Separate from its where it's attached. Very, very interesting. Not necessarily is all this. A lot of them, we say we can't. A lot of the remedies in the Gemara don't apply today anymore, or we don't understand them or how they work.
Oh.
So it's not, I mean, it could be that, I don't know. Don't try it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be depends. It could be
Also,
a lot of times it could be that it happened to somebody. Let's say this is what happened, or that it could be in a certain scenario will happen.
Right.
You don't want, even when it comes to sakanas nefashos, it comes to something where you're putting life in danger. We don't let you even. There's no, in Isra Heter we have something called batal b'shishim. Something can be diluted in 60, right? Because you say the flavor is gone. When it comes to sakanas nefashos, there's no, but we say no, but there is absolutely no dilution. We're more stringent when it comes to sakanas nefashos when someone's life is in danger than Isra Heter, than something like basar b'chalav, meat and milk. We're going to be even more stringent because we take it all the way when it comes to anything which could put anyone in danger. There was I think a goat that came to the Reish Galusa. It was the head of the Galus, the main. The Gadol, I don't say the Gadol Hadar because it wasn't the person who was the most chashav. It wasn't the person who was the most important. It was one of the most learned, right? It was just the person who was the best liaison with the president. That was Reish Galusa's position was
political leader.
Yeah, the political leader. The Havamafsakar and it was dragging its foot behind it. But Gidin's Rab checked by the junction of the tendons and the veins. We learned yesterday about this. There's many of these, right? And you have to check and see if those got cut or if they somehow slipped off or whatever. Right? So he checked the oxygen. He saw it's kosher. So he was going to eat part of it. He was going to eat some of it for breakfast. And some delicious goat, raw goat. They think they eat it almost raw. Amalei Reb Shmuel. So Shmuel told him 1 second, like, you're not worried that maybe it got poisoned. To check it. Amalei Maitikanta. What should I do? Rav tells Shmuel, what do you want me to do? How do I check? They said, nice way time. Put it in the oven, and he'll check itself for us. He put it in the oven. Nafal tilchi. It fell apart. As the heat started to get to it, it started to just dissolve because it had been poisoned. Something had bitten or whatever, and that it caused the meat to get very weak. And it just dissolves. I mean, you can see this for sure when it's an infection. I've seen this myself. When an animal has like an infection or something during its life, afterwards the meat gets very the texture of the meat, the muscle around it gets very weak, and it's almost dissolvable. It's like it gets very soft and not strong. So you can understand. Tilchi must be something very strong stuff that this thing had gotten bitten with, it got poisoned with, but it was karishmo. So it started to fall apart. So they saw that it had been poisoned. They shouldn't eat it. Karishmo the Rav Shmuel said, to you, Rav, applies the pasuk. It says in Mishlei, it will not happen to a tzaddik any mishap. Kari Rav Shmuel. Rav said about Shmuel, it's because of the story. Kol Rozle honestly, there's no secret which is held back from you. So again, other pasuk in Daniel about Belshazzar. Yeah. Belshazzar told him, there's no secret which is hidden from you after he interpreted the writing on the wall. So this is that no secret is hidden from you. So he said, Shmuel knows so much. And you see there's other places also where Shmuel healed Rav. It wasn't the first time Shmuel helped Rav out. You see him here. Okay. Mishnah. Now we're going, this is basically the end of Trefus. Now we're going to totally other subjects. Now to the end of the parak. Has almost absolutely nothing to do with Trefus. Practically almost nothing. This is all about the Simanim in Parsha Shmini and Parsha Zer'ei in the Torah. It says only certain animals are kosher. We're going to learn about how to identify them and how to identify what's not kosher, how to know what's kosher, basically. Okay. The signs of what is a kosher animal, a kosher animal, and a kosher domesticated animal, domesticated animal, and kosher wild animal. Never been a Torah. We're said straight out of the Torah, right? And the things that the signs of a bird are not said. It's not said. Some said, "Kol oif adeiris," any bird that is doreis. We're going to tummy. It's tummy. Is not kosher bird. Kosher it's Beisera. Any bird that has extra finger, the zefek, and has a crop, but kukuvani niklaf, and its gizzard peels. Lezer said the gamer, tar is going to be a tar bird. So he said over here 3 symptoms of a kosher bird. Anything which has extra finger, anything which has a crop, anything which is gizzard peels. All right, and we said that another thing is that the non-kosher ones, they are all doreis. What doreis is machlekes Rashi Tosfos. Rashi says that doreis is it picks up its food and eats it as it's standing, basically like us, right? It holds its food while it eats, like it's eating a hot dog, right? So I don't know if you ever see parrots. You see them doing. You can see parrots, another very common bird. You see them doing that. They're definitely non-kosher. Tosfos says that it's something. It holds down the food and pecks at it as it eats. Like it holds down, or no, it eats them alive. It eats live prey. Okay, so machlokes is what it is. Any bird which can split its legs, tummy. So that's like if you take a string, and you put the bird down on it. So could it put two in front and two in back? A kosher bird can only put three in front and one in back. Doesn't really have one in back. A non-kosher one could split it evenly, like Fine. Okay, fine. So that is the end of the birds. Now we're talking about grasshoppers. We don't eat any of these today, but they are kosher. There are kosher grasshoppers out there. Kosher is like anything which has 4 legs, or abrackanfayim, and 4 wings, or Chulin. And these are special long legs they use for jumping. And its wings cover most of its body. So those are the 4 signs of grasshoppers. We're going to learn more about this later. I'm not going to go into huge detail, in great detail here in the Mishnah. Later, the Gemara is going to go through this with a very fine-tooth comb, so you have to see everything. Rabbi Yossi Aimer Shmei Chagav, it has to also be called Chagav. The Torah says Chagav, so it has to be called a Chagav. Okay, now we're going to fish. And fish, what's the sign of kosher fish? Kosher fish says whatever has fins and scales. Yehuda Aimer Shnei Kasksin has to have at least 2 scales, Snapper Echad, and 1 fin. So what? How do we define what do you have to know what kasksin are? I said fins and scales. I helped you out over here. We did. The Gemara is going to go through exactly how we know the fins and scales. How we know kasksin. Kasksin really just means like mail, like chain mail. It really just means like doesn't necessarily mean. How do we know that it means scales? Okay. Like by the snapir, haperech and snapir are the fins which it swims with.
Oh, which grasshoppers with today? There we go.
Yeah, we don't actually have a clear, so we don't know which ones.
Yeah.
Some Yemenites do officially have them. Some they have tradition they eat that, but everyone else doesn't. Okay, Tan Rabbanon, the Gemara we learned it. He learned these are the signs, the kosher signs of an animal, of a domesticated animal. Kol behema mefreses parsa. So it says in the Torah, any animal which is mefreses parsa, which has split hoofs. Called behema shemal gera, and all animals that chew their cud means all ruminants. Any animal which has 4 chambers for their stomach, right? It's domesticated. It's goats, sheep, cows, and practically every species of deer out there.
Okay.
They all chew their cud. I just mentioned wild animals and domesticated animals, but any animal which chews cud does not have teeth on their upper jaw. They don't have teeth like us on the top. At least not front teeth. They have in the back a little bit, but not really. They don't have too many teeth on the top. It's a hira, and it's kosher. Okay, fine. So the Gemara said we have a rule brought down. Right, the Gemara brought down a new rule. Any animal which uses cud is not going to have teeth on the top of their mouth. So that's a sign. That's how you'll know. You check an animal. You look. It's a very easy way. You open up the mouth. You see there's no teeth on the top. Great, I can eat this. Right? Okay. Kollel, who's 1 second? We're going to challenge this. Is this really is this a rule? You're telling me a general rule. Is this true? Who we have a camel which chews its cud, and it does not have teeth on the upper level of the tummy, and it is impure. It's a non-kosher animal. The Gemara says no. Gamal nivi is like Gamal has like these big teeth, the front, and you can see it's very obvious. They come right out. So though it does have teeth, meaning the general rule still applies, even though it doesn't have as many teeth as non-ruminant animal has. But it has enough to tell you that it's not, for the general rule to apply. Okay. So the Gemara's like, okay, very good, you got me there. But very bangamal, the nivi is not less like a young camel doesn't even have those upper teeth. So then now your general rule, someone's gonna end up eating a camel. Be like, oh look, great, no it's upper teeth, I can eat this camel. And it's just that's non-kosher animal. So he said, and he also wants, and furthermore, you can ask, Hare Shafan our Neves. You have a Shafan and our Neves, which are 2 different types of animal. Other 2 animals mentioned in the Torah. Trying to remember exactly what they are again. Some say a rabbit and the Malagir Hain.
Hyrex in the hair.
Hyrex in the hair. The Malagiri, and this is the point. There's many books written exactly. Is it really a hair? Is it not? Okay, whatever it is, the Malagiri hand that they chew their cud, and they have teeth on top. It's main, and they're non-kosher. Who did it ever say in the Torah anything about teeth? Why are we even bringing in the whole teeth thing? All right, what's going on over here? So, okay. Ella, the Gemara's like, okay, let's go back a bit. Let's say like this. Any animal doesn't have teeth on top, it is known that it chews its cud. So it's just an extra sign. I'm not telling you you're right. It says in the Torah Malagir, we're not changing that. Torah says any animal chews its cud, has split hooves, is kosher. Right? We're just telling you a sign of the animal chewing its cud, since you can't check an animal before you shecht it, right? You can't just open up and see, oh, does it have 4 stomachs? No. So a sign of that is no teeth. Right? The Tahira, and it's pure and it's a kosher animal. Lives like refers to say. Okay, so one second. Why don't you check? You're telling me, oh, you could check its mouth, check its hooves. That's mentioned in the Torah, right? Okay, so the one's like, oh no, maybe it's in a situation, a scenario where the hooves are cut off for some reason. You can't tell. Even the front of the hooves are cut off, and you can't see that they're split. That they were split. And it's like Rav Chisda said, you're walking in the midbar, in the desert, and you found an animal whose hooves were split. You check in its mouth. So basically, he says you're in a little bit of a pickle. You find this animal. The problem is the hooves are somehow cut off, so you can't check if it has split hooves. What do? You check its mouth. If it doesn't have teeth on the upper level, upper jaw, there's no teeth. So you know that it's a kosher animal. If it doesn't, you know that it's a non-kosher animal. However, there's one caveat. You have to recognize a camel. That's what Chisda said. You have to, right? If you're in the desert and the hooves are cut off, how do you check the animal? Check its teeth. If it has teeth on the top, you know it's not kosher. If it doesn't, then you know it's kosher. But he says you have to know how to make sure you can differentiate between a camel and all the kosher animals. So Gemara asks 1 second. Gamel slave. We just said a camel has big teeth in the front, right? It has those 2 big teeth and the thick, like it's hard to explain. I wish I had my book with pictures here, but
A little bit of a picture.
now look, these big teeth in front. So why is Chisda saying you have to be able to differentiate between a camel? A camel's obvious. It has those big teeth in front, which kosher animals don't have. No. He's like, no, rather, Chisda was saying you have to be able to tell between a son of a young camel, which doesn't have those big teeth, and therefore you have to. Mm-hmm. So Gemara is like 1 second. So maybe there's another. Maybe you're saying that now you're telling me you have to be worried about a son of a young camel. Maybe there's a different type of animal that we don't know, or something that has the same problem, right? And someone's going to get messed over because of this rule. The Gemara keeps continuing to challenge this general rule that if there's no teeth on the upper level, you can just assume that it's kosher, as long as you know, even if a young camel. Are you so sure about this? So now the Gemara is going to prove it. It says in Tana of Rabbi Shmuel, we have a brisa brought down from the Academy of Rabbi Shmuel. That's the Gomel and the camel. Himala Geir, who the Torah said, right? It says in the Torah in Parsha Shmini. That it specifically mentions the camel. Right? Only this you should not eat. You should not eat malagera from the ones that chew from the animals that chew their cud, from afrisei parsa and have split hooves. The Torah brings down exceptions. One of those exceptions is esagamo, the camel. Kimalagera who for it chews its cud. Ufarsa and mafris and does not have split hooves. So. The one who rules this world, the one who has jurisdiction over, has the power over this world, knows that there's only one thing that is chews its cud, and is impure. Now, therefore, the verse specified it. Told you exactly that camel's the only one which chews its cud, but does not have split hooves. And it's pretty, and that has come true. We've not found an animal yet that is, that defies this rule. As far as I know, he's going. So he's going on the way, or it's probably a change to Bamidbar. Yeah, in the desert. It must be hamish pia gom. What happens if you find an animal that has its mouth is somehow messed up? I don't know. It has no teeth. Its mouth is sealed mostly. I'm not sure. What do you says? What do? You check its hooves. Parsha says dukos. What happens if it has sealed hooves? No, if Parsha says dukos, if it has closed hooves, we do a straight tahara. No, sorry. Stukos, I made a mistake. Stukos are. I missed the line. Sorry, 1 second. Let's go back. You're going in the desert. You found the animal that has a mouth that you can't check for teeth. It's closed or something. Mutilated. By the say you check its hooves. The verse says if they're split, if they're cracked, if they have split, and you know that it's a pure animal. You know that it is an impure animal. As long as you can recognize a pig, because the pig has split hooves, it does not chew its cud. So like, why are you telling me this rule? Why are you saying this? Maybe there's another. Maybe there's something like a pig that you're not going to recognize, right? How do we know every animal? You're making a very broad rule here. Mm-hmm. The Gemara says no. The Talmud of Shmuel, again, we have a brisa from the Academy of Shmuel. There's a chazir from the person who Torah specifically mentions. These are things that Torah tells you. Torah tells you the only exceptions to the rule. So it's not us that are making this up. It's in the Torah, right? Kimavas parts who, and you should not eat the pig, for it has split hooves, but it does not chew its cud. It says in the Torah. Who shall by lami yedea? The one who rules this world knows. You don't have anything that has split hooves, the tamei, and that is impure. Ella chazir. Besides for a pig, the fikas part by kasav who. Every Torah specified the pig to tell you. Make sure you be aware of this because it's the only one that goes against the rules. It told you all the exceptions to these rules of how you know an animal is kosher. I'm Rav Chisda, and again, Chisda said, "I'm half midbar. You're sojourning in the desert. You found an animal that had its mouth mutilated, and had split hooves. By that, sorry, you check its meat. If it goes interweaving, like especially if it means parallel to each other. The meat is interwoven, like I'm interlocking my fingers here. It goes this way, runs this way, then you know that it's kosher. If not, then you know that it is non-kosher. As long as you can recognize a wild donkey, okay. So this is very interesting, guys. This is a very interesting sign of being kosher. We don't fully understand it exactly how. The Gemara is going to tell you exactly where to look for this. But I had a question also. I didn't understand. I don't. Anyone has an answer? Please let me know. But how do you shech this animal? Because you're not allowed to shech that. Yes, you could shech it without a bracha. Maybe you don't know if it's kosher. I guess you shech it without a bracha. You know it's kosher because you can't check till after it's dead. You can't like cut off half, the back half of the animal and be like, oh, is this kosher? Then okay, now let me shech it. So I guess you have to shech without a bracha if you don't know it's kosher. Okay. So the Gemara's like again. This is the third time the Gemara is asking the question. Didn't you say there is an exception to this rule? So how are you so sure? How can you make a rule? How can you say a general rule if you said there's an exception? So maybe there's another type. Maybe there's another exception. Once there's one, maybe there's another. There's another exception that's similar to a ard, a wild donkey. We have a tradition. We have a halacha passed down from Moshe Rabbeinu. Usually that's what miri means. A leka. There's no other type. So you have all the way from Moshe Rabbeinu, halacha l'Moshe Sinai is called. They have halacha from Moshe to Sinai, all the way back there, the leka, v'heichad boidik, and where did you give up? So now we're satisfied. We all these exceptions are brought down from either the Torah or we have it on good authority. Where do you check for this meat going opposite, the meat that goes both ways? The grain goes both ways. That's what it is. With the grain. The grain goes opposite ways.
Smell.
Sorry, not I said opposite. Again, it goes perpendicular to each other. Just to be clear. At the back of the animal where it meets the tail, right, where the two sides of the animal meet in a tail, right? So that's where this meat goes in both directions. Okay, and apparently by not kosher animal it does. Okay, simone chaya, signs of a wild animal. This is all about domesticated animals and how you recognize what a domesticated animal is. What about kosher wild animals? These are the signs of a wild animal. The simone. Whatever we just said about domesticated animals applies to tell you whether or not a wild animal is kosher animal. If you want to know if it's kosher, split hooves, chewing gets cut, that's how you know. Done. So what's the so I'm Reb Zera. So we need to know more signs of wild animals. Why do we need to differentiate between wild animals and domesticated animals? Because we want to be able to eat the fat. There are certain forbidden fats which are forbidden in domesticated animals.
Oh. Okay. And they're not forbidden in wild animals?
No, they're 100% permitted in wild animals. So you want to know the difference, right? It saves you a lot of work because in the other animals you have to sit there removing a lot of forbidden fat. Right. It's called nikur, and it takes time. As you know, a bunch of hours of production. So if you're doing wild animals, then you only need to take out the gid hanasha, the sciatic nerve. That's it. Okay. And this is what the mishna is saying. These are the signs of a wild animal whose forbidden fats are actually permitted. Whatever has horns and hooves and nails in the hooves, like.
Horns and split hooves.
This is split hooves. Okay, that's not how Rashi says it, but okay, fine. If it has horns, then you don't need to look for the split hooves. If it has split hooves, you have to check the horns to make sure they're proper types of horns. The kerish, and a kerish, this type of animal called a kerish, even though it only has one horn, mutter, it's going to be permitted. Okay, so this is the brisa we just saw. Okay, I mean, its fat will be mutter. It's going to obviously be permitted because it has a sign of a kosher animal. The question is it a domesticated animal or is it a non-domesticated animal? Because that's the difference of whether or not you're allowed to eat the fat. So it will be permitted. Okay, now the Gemara, of course, will do what it just did on Amud Aleph. Kollel, is this a general rule? Are you saying that every animal which has horns will have hooves, split hooves? Sorry, are you saying this rule that you're saying, something which has horns and split hooves is going to be permitted? Is that really a good rule? Is that a good general rule? Don't we have, you have a goat, the Yeshlik Harnaim Mitafayim, which has horns and split hooves, and those fats are forbidden. Kruchos bina, no, you need a certain type of horn. What's kruchos? Kruchos is layers upon layers. So it's for like cow horns have this. They have it's like a tree. It has rings. It grows year after year, extra layers after layer after layer, which goat horns don't have. Okay, so that you need horns like that. The Gemara says. Really? Very sure. You have an ox, the kruchos, a chaviaser. You just said, right? You have a cow. First you said a goat. Then you said no, goats are not good because you need one that has layers. What about it? But then you said we have and then we have an ox which has layered horns. Like again, it has rings, like a tree has. Every year it gets thicker and thicker. And again, its fats are forbidden. So the Gemara is like, no, mifutzal is bina. I skipped the line again. Sorry, charukos is bina. It needs to be ridged, right? A cow horns are not ridged. We want an animal that has ridges, bumps all over its horns. Okay, so the Gemara is we're back to goat. That a goat has ridges in its horns, and its fat is forbidden. Oh no, if it's always been on, they need to branch off. Rashi says over here, he's using an old Latin word, I think, or old French. Forkers has to be forked. He's saying, right? It's a fork, prong, where it branches off. Yeah, spread. They say spread.
Require that the horns be branched.
Branched,
In order for them to qualify as a sign.
And like they have antlers, like they come in all sides. All right, Tzvi, so the Gemara asks, you have a gazelle, the ein futzolis. I said a gazelle. There's a machlekes Rashi Tosfos what it is. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But we're gonna go with the gazelle, right? Or Rashi's a Steinbuck maybe. All right, Tzvi, the ein futzolis, that they're not branched, v'chali mutter, and its fat is permitted. So you're telling me that there's a general. We're trying to pin down this rule over here. What's the rule? So we said finally we got to the fact that branched animals with branched horns, branched antlers, those are going to be the ones that are the fat is permitted, right? So the Gemara's like 1 second, but we have a gazelle or a Steinbuck, right? Where they have horns which are not spread or not branched, and we know that their fat is permitted. So you have to get this straight. So Gemara's like, no, you need not only it's not enough to just have branched chadudois beinu. I should change it to chadudois, that they're sharp. Beinu.
Some of the animals, like deer, lose their horns.
Right, they shed the antlers. Right. We're saying another rule: they need to be branched, or they need to be sharp. Once you see that animal has branched horns, you're for sure good. Once you see antlers or whatever, like elk and all those animals that have these big antlers, then you're fine. The question only starts. Once it's not branched, you need 3 signs. You need it to be it has to be layered, it has to be sharp, and it has to be ridged. And those and it has to be that the ridges are close to each other. It can't just be randomly spread. It has to be like look like
merge into each other.
Yeah. I wish I had pictures here, but I don't. Behind Usveka the Izer Charchois, and this is the suffix. This is one animal we're not sure what the status is of this Izer Charchois, and this is a suffix. We don't know. We're not sure if it counts, if it meets these three criteria. And he's the Charchois. There was a goat of this type of goat by the Reish Kusa, back to the political leader. The Ucker Malitzana the Tarvin Minay. He took off a lot of fat from it. Rabbi Choy said it's forbidden. Rav Shmuel Berei Deravo Achal Minay. Rav Shmuel Berei said it's permitted, and he ate from it. Karyan Akshay, he said on himself. This pasuk applies. This verse applies. With pre-ish this babitnoi, from the fruits of the mouth of a man, he satiates the stomach, because from the fact that he listened and he learned and he knew the correct ruling, he was able to eat from this animal. Shalchu mitam, they sent from there, from the other yeshiva. The halacha is like Rabbi Shmuel Bar Davo. His ruling is correct. However, Rabbeinu Achoy, be careful with Rabbeinu Achoy. Don't offend his honor when he's there. When he's around, don't, until he comes around and understand and agrees that this halacha is like Rabbi Shmuel Bar Davo. Don't flash around this ruling in front of him, because he's someone who lights up the eyes. He's someone who lights up the eyes of the people in exile. Continue a little bit.
Just need. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just need a little time to.
No problem. Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said, "Karish Tavi the Beiloi, Tigris Ari the Beiloi." A karish, what animal is this? Tavi the Beiloi. It's a goat from the forest of Beiloi. Tigris is a lion from the forest of Beiloi. Rav Kahana. Tesh Amasa. This is very hard to understand. Gemara talks about extremely large animals. If they're around, we don't know where they are. But it's extremely large. Rav Kahana. Tesha Amasa have been una the Ari the Beiloi. There are 9 amos, 9 cubits, which is at least about 15 feet between each lobe of the lungs of the Ari of the lion of Beiloi. You know how big that is? If that's just the lungs, there's 15 feet. It's gigantic. 16 feet is 16 cubits. Amos is the length of the Ari de Beiloi, of the goat of Beiloi, the forest of Beiloi. Okay. 1 second, we're going to say a quick story. Amar, the case of Yeshua ben Hanania. The Caesar, the king said to Yeshua ben Hanania, the case him, Masa. Your God is like a roaring lion, like it says. It says in Amos, a lion has roared, who will not fear? What does wow, that's how big your God is. He can just roar like a lion. Is that so scary even? So he said to him, Amrlay, Be'ina the Mexisley? Oh, so sorry, Amrlay, Love Kahayari. He's like, God doesn't roar like a regular lion. It's like It's like a lion of the forest of Eloy. He roars. Amrlay, Be'ina the Mexisley, I want to see it. I want to see it here. Amrlay, Matzis Chazley. Say it's impossible for you to see it. Amrlay, Ivra, no, he swore I must see it. I'm not going to quit till I see it. Okay. Chazina, he saw that he's not. So he saw that he has to see it. But he asked, he davened to Hashem, and it should come. That the king should be able to see it. It's Akar Menuchte. It was moved from its place. It started to move. The line started to approach Rome, or that's where Shimon Chani was talking to the emperor. Can you have a market Arba Man Parsi when it was 400 parses away, which is 400 parses equals roughly 1,600 miles, 1,500 miles. Nihem Mochad Kollel, it roared one roar. Afilu kol mavar to b'shur derami. All the bridges in Rome fell down.
So all the pregnant women.
Sorry, all the pregnant women. Sorry, I made this mistake last time. All the bridges fell down. Sorry, all the pregnant women fell down. Lost her children. Naval Adamarchik Tlasmei Parsi when it was 1,200 miles away. Nihin Kola Achrina. It roared another roar. Nasser Kachi B'Shin the Gabri. Afu Nafal Mekris Ara. All the teeth, clacked together. They fell out, and he himself fell out of his chair. The emperor fell out of his chair. Please, I beg of you, daven for us. The Lahad Duchta should go back to this place. But Rachman went back to this place, and he didn't get to see it in the end. I want to see one more story. I think we have enough time. Should we?
I don't know.
I don't want
I
to.
wouldn't mind stopping.
Okay, fine. So we'll stop here. But there's very interesting stuff coming.
Okay.
Yeah. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Yashikoa.
Step up and